Do we have any noisy drinks to be concerned
And I
with?
think we're done.
Welcome to Ghost Town Poetry Open Mic, where it was brought to my attention not too long ago that I might have been insensitive to the hard of hearing. So this is why I would like to encourage you to do what I'm doing and use the microphone. You will find that it depends on where you are. So as much as possible, use it, and if it makes you really nervous, spend some time messing around with it at the beginning, and then try to forget about it. Don't pop your peas, okay? So we do this on the second Thursday of every month. I see a lot of new faces, which is always nice. That's how you keep a reading series like this alive, is to have a nice mix. Hello. And one of the things that I always do is I start with a poem by somebody else. And tonight I asked one of our featured readers, Doug Marks, if he would recommend something or if he had a request. And the reason for this is that Doug has, one of the things that Doug has done is to really be a kind of a mentor to writers in Portland. He probably doesn't want that going out because I'm not sure that he's doing that actively anymore. But I was among the people who was fortunate enough to learn something from Doug, so I trust his recommendations. So this is, I may butcher the name now, Wisława Szymborska. And you can find out more about her, but born in 1923 in Poland, died in 2012, many awards, many collections of poetry, and this was the poem also that Doug suggested called Miracle Fair. Commonplace miracle, that so many commonplace miracles happen. An ordinary miracle, in the dead of night, the barking of invisible dogs. One miracle out of many, a small airy cloud, yet it can block a large and heavy moon. Several miracles in one, an alder tree reflected in the water, and that it's backwards left to right, and that it grows there, crown down, and never reaches the bottom, even though the water is shallow. An everyday miracle, winds weak to moderate, turning gusty in storms. First among equal miracles, cows are cows. Second to none, just this orchard, from just that seed. A miracle without a cape and a top hat, scattering white doves. A miracle for what else could you call it? Today the sun rose at 3:14 and will set at 8:01. A miracle less surprising than it should be. Even though the hand has fewer than 6 fingers, it still has more than 4. A miracle, just take a look around. The world is everywhere. An additional miracle, as everything is additional, the unthinkable is thinkable. Wisława Szymborska. And for those of you that have been here before, we'll do something in the range of 6 to 8 of our open mic readers, and then we will hear from from Catherine Saltzman, who's one of our featured readers tonight. We'll take a break so that you can get to know each other, buy some books and some coffee, and then we'll come back for Doug Marks and the rest of the open mic. So let's get things started with one of our newer friends, and someone I really want to thank because she has been working hard to document what's happening, posting video and posting still photographs, which I really don't have the time to deal with at all. So I thank her for that, and we thank her for her poetry and her energy as well. Tiffany Schramm.
Thank you. Just a disclaimer on my video skills, they're not the best. My camera likes to cut out and do stuff like that, so I'll get a new camera and document better. So I have 2 poems, one that I wrote, and then one that my daughter will come up and sign with me that a friend of mine in New York wrote. So the first one is called The Years. The days of babies are over for me. My children are almost grown. The years have brought wrinkles around my eyes, gray to my hair, the ache in my bones. The joy I have seen watching them dance in the Nutcracker, playing in the mud, dive off the boat ramp on the Ochiko Reservoir, ride horses in the hot desert of Central Oregon. I watched my children mature. Their first days of school, the pictures in the early crisp September mornings in front of that same plum tree. Each year they grew bigger, one of the saddest days for me. I never enjoyed the return back to school. I never wanted them away from me. Maybe because I knew each year that passed grew closer to the day that they would one day leave. Boxes packed, bookshelves clear, closets empty with only hangers. I have 4 more first days of school in front of that old plum tree. 4 more years until the last one leaves. Their childhood door closes, the door to their future is wide open. I kind of like my kids a little bit, so sorry if I get emotional. This is my daughter Brittany, and she likes to sign while I read. So this poem actually was written by a friend of mine in New York named Karen. She listened to me and my brother talk about our mom who passed away at age 62. So we were in our very early 30s when she died. So she wrote this poem about our mom based on what we had told her. So this is for Lonnie. In a world of delicate, precious roses, carnations as common as morning, and lilies everywhere, you are a sunflower. There are stories we dare not tell our children, and yours is one of them. This is a story that needs to be told. Giving of yourself is the only thing that redeems us as human beings, the only way to find happiness, but you gave it all away. When you were a young woman, in the flower of your days, how fertile you were, each child more beautiful than the next, each the sweetest thing, blonde-lit, sunlit promises. Men do not keep their promises, though, and they go away, and they always go, sister. We dig deep into the earth to provide for yellow seeds. One wants a guitar, one wants a saxophone. And we dig, and it isn't enough. A sunflower is resourceful. A sunflower works alone. This is not pretty. Petals fall to the ground, the blooming season over too soon. The black center dominates the eye, looming large and ominous. Weeds, life-sucking weeds, flourish around the sunflower, zapping its strength, scavengers to the labor of nature. But the roots, mama, grow on and on, creating complex systems under the ground. You won't live long enough to see them, but I promise you, there are roots you'd be proud of. This is the only consolation for a sunflower done too soon. What is the lesson for our children? To die young, to dig deep, to give away, to sacrifice. Mighty flower, bright head shining, full of intimate goodness, rising alone. Do not go alone, children. Do not give every bit away. Choose wisely your friends and let them water you, care for you, gently pull of you what has died, so newness can grow. Recognize weeds and keep them at bay with a firm but loving hand. Life can be a garden if you want it bad enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have someone who's really a regular for a long time, and we haven't seen for a while because she was making money. How unusual, right? And whose work can still be seen behind you on the wall, some of her paintings. Those are yours, right? Yes? And who has, been getting a lot of stuff published, been getting book covers because she's a visual artist as well as a writer, and we're really pleased to see her here again. April Bullard, welcome.
Thank you. Shameless plug. Wrote a short story. Submitted it 11 times and got rejected 11 times. Said, okay, let's dig down, let's see what's wrong with this thing. Added about 8 lines. Submitted it again, expected about a 2 or 3 month wait, and got accepted the very next day. So, yay, I have a short story in Demonic Visions, 50 Terror Tales. a new anthology out. You can catch it on Smashwords or you can look it up on Amazon. It's an ebook right now. What I'd like to read tonight, a little lighter fare. It's called Summer Surrender. Morning coffee on the front deck. My boat nestled in the clear, slow current, between tides, in the southern hooked cove of Caterpillar Island. Serenaded by the last of the summer birds, as sunshine drops like a curtain of golden light, mercilessly rousing the towering cottonwoods from top to bottom. The empty sky infused with a melancholy blue, unmoved and indifferent of the realm below. North winds finger-stroke heavy, leaf-heavy branches, like gently brushing a drowsy child's hair. Faded yellow leaves, released from the trees, flutter on the breeze, a kaleidoscope of butterflies drifting down. Once caught by the river, the illusion is lost. The spicy tang of scorched wildflowers teases my nose. Childhood memories flood my mind, dancing with grasshoppers through harvest lush meadows, lounging in swaying treetop branches, exploring the forest as if stranded on an alien planet or shipwrecked on a mysterious island. Reflections glimmer in the shadows on the bank, fleeting figures playing hide-and-seek, taunting grown-up sensibilities. The coffee cup, abandoned on the lonely front deck. My fresh footprints mark the pristine morning shore.
Thanks, April. And next, this is great. We're going to hear from one of our features for next month. We're going to have another double feature next month, and it's someone that I've been wanting to get up here as a featured reader for a long time because I really admire the work that he's doing. Rob Gurley.
Thank you. Let's see, I think I wrote this maybe 6 years ago, something like that, pulled it out. Rain showers. We pass hay bales left of field swelling, and farther up Larch Mountain Road, a spiral windrow is soggy and yellowing. No trace of Olson's hay crop remains outside to spoil. The bales are stowed. There he is now, tending his raspberry canes. Straining to pedal up the crest of the climb, we coax gears lower as the pace has slowed, and showers revive our thirst for sunshine. And I keep going back to this first chapbook. Hopefully you haven't heard this in a while. Page 10. I know it's called Director's Blues. There we go. Left the glitzy stuntman behind who was trying to say too much about too little. Film cast milling near Chuckwagon. Will anyone bother to clean up the crusted pots and pans? May as well just drop the storyboard, watch it slip into a dark pool. Now ice flows cloud the river. Had hoped to open up a new reel, reshoot the car chase beneath a blue moon, not dither and dawdle beside these green bridge spans. That's all I have for this night.
Yeah, I hope you come back next month and hear Rob. He's also working on some chapbooks and a broadside, I think, for
Yes, we
for
will
that
have a
reading.
broadside. I'm printing about 40, 45 of them for everyone. One
Yes.
each free.
And our other guest is going to be someone who I haven't met, which is something that happens with the series. His name is Klipschutz, and he's a San Francisco poet and a friend of Charles Potts, who some of you know and met. here through the series. So come and see Rob and Clipshots do their thing along with our open mic readers. And next we're going to hear from Ron DeGrace.
Okay, my printer didn't work, so here we go. The first, I have two little short ones. The first one is called Kissing Fire and Rain. Sunny are my days, laugh with fire in my belly, scoff at the naysayers, tempt my soul with rainbows. I dare to live on the edge of possibility. Drown my soul in sunny days, smile and sing, skip and dance. I welcome life's challenges, rainy days keep me strong. Raining fire of gold at the end, multi-hued, dazzle in sunlight, dancing in the blaze of glory, umbrellas in the rain, kissing life on the lips. And the next one is a brand new one that I just wrote called The Sage and I. On tip of tongue, voice of belief, knowledge, wisdom of many years, spilled from the lips of a sage. My ears strain to grasp every word, soak up each inflection in his every brainwave into my subconscious. I meet his nobility inside soft swirls of his heartbeat. He teaches with an awareness, an intelligence beyond my universe. We walk, we talk, commune in every silent verb, across the threshold into a universal knowing, creative thought manifested into my reality. Vibrations, my energy becomes my world. My thoughts are my energy. My energy vibrates at a high frequency. Is my life. I now live each moment. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Toni Partington, I co-host. Have been for, I was trying to figure out, Chris, has it been is this the third year that I've been co-hosting with you?
At least.
Maybe longer? I don't
Seems
know.
like the 10th year.
Seems like the 10th year. I don't know how to take that, Jim.
Years different than other people's years?
What's that?
Are poets' years different than
Poets' years are definitely different. That's fact, that's fact. Speaking of 10, January is the 10th year anniversary of the series that Chris started in 2004 at Ice Cream Renaissance. And then it moved over to the bookstore, which became Cover to Cover Books. It will be 7? No, 6.
7.
7.
7 years.
7 years with Cover to Cover, but 10 years of the series. So January will be the 7th anniversary with Mel and Mark and Cover to Cover Books, and it should prove to be a pretty exciting night. So as we move toward January, we'll be giving you sort of little tidbits and updates about what we plan to do, but keep the second Thursday in January on your calendar for sure. It's really nice to see all of you. It's always a really full group, and I love it. And I wanted to, before I introduce the next open mic person, I wanted to sort of give Doug a name check here. I first met Doug in his basement. Way back in 2007, was not too long after Chris and I started going out, and we were out at some event, probably a reading, and Doug graciously invited a few folks over to talk about poetry, and it was also the first time I'd ever met Catherine, and we were sitting next to each other, and we had a really intimate, kind of intense conversation that night that would just sort of, the whole evening really left an impression. But a little while after that, I just wrote this short poem based on something that Doug had said that night, so I'm going to name check you here for a minute then. It's called Borrowed Lines, the difference between gifts and stealing. Poets take license with events and phrases. A simple word becomes a trophy. Poets covet small notebooks that hold scratches of ink and overheard nuggets. Poets listen and lurk, swallowing words like free shots lined up by old friends. I know a poet who can't walk out to get the mail without a pen. Folks he knows laugh and point toward therapy. Reliving childhood angst might clear it up. That or a day job. Last week, though, Doug Marks pretty much summed it up. He said, "Hey, it's all a crapshoot anyway, man." I wrote it down because Doug ought to know. Tonight I'll ask Dennis and Mike G if stealing makes me a poser. They'll get me straight. We are going to hear next from Jan Ice. Jan, come on up.
I have two short ones. First one is a little bit older one. Second one's newer. Okay. Dance floor beckons, swirling silk entices, red shimmer reflecting, crystal heels clicking, silent music pulses, deafening rhythm beats, light then shadow, blinding flashes, strobe light, dancing. The second one, my sister and I make a habit of going on the First Friday Art Walk. And there's this cute little shop that we always stop into and just have a look around. And I found a necklace that had an owl for the pendant. And I like owls. So I came up with this little poem to go with it and then forgot to bring the necklace. She lingers on her favorite branch for a few moments longer, basking in the light from the harvest moon. Her gilded feathers shimmer in a soft, alluring glow. With luminous eyes, she keeps watch over the forest. Spreading her wings, she silently lifts into the air. Gliding across the meadow of quietly waving grasses, she vanishes into the shadows beneath the trees. Her call is a whispered echo.
Thank you, Jan. And next we're going to hear from Joyce Colson. Joyce, come on up, and she's got some news for you as well as her poetry.
First, I'll fiddle with the microphone. I've got bad news and good news to start with. The bad news is where I've been hosting my open mic poetry at Tiger Lily Restaurant and Bar. They went out of business as of the end of Saturday this recent weekend. But they had Peace and Justice Fair at Esther Short Park, and I had a chance to talk to Kenny. Thank you. Anyway, he's willing to let me host at the Paper Tiger Roasters, so we'll be back there. I'll have the next hosting this coming Sunday at 7 p.m. and then beginning in October it'll be third Wednesdays, so hope to see everyone there. And I'll read two poems tonight. This first one is called, and this is appropriate for the Tiger Lily closing, me having to switch locations, called The Moment of Change. There are a million of those moments when the pitter-patter of new beginnings totters down the road in a new direction, and their soft murmurs lull us into a busy moment of rest. There are a minuscule total of moments when change rears its head and roars, and nasty claws swipe out with a slash of abruptness, and that single moment amongst millions cuts away the shelter from our naked soul. It is in those moments when change, like an unexpected tornado, like an undiscovered ambush, like the echoing nail in the last coffin, changes our security blanket forever. There are a million moments and thousands of repeating litanies that pitter-patter through our lives, and breathlessly we dread that moment that rears its head and roars, and in that single moment amongst millions, cuts away the shelter from our naked soul. And this second one is called Rock of Ages. When I climbed the rock, it was not because it is there, the heaving and sighing of, at last, the safety of being above the avalanche. No, I climbed the rock because it was the Rock of Ages. The view from the Rock of Ages is the perspective of ancient saints. It is the dependability of diversity. It is the gratitude of endless prosperity. It is the faith of nurturing nature. It is the respect of solid solace. It is the resting place of serendipity. It is the peak of touching divinity. When I climbed the rock, it was not because Mother told me to. The heaving and sighing of, I'm at the top of the world. The safety of not standing on shifting sand. No, I climbed the rock because it was the Rock of Ages.
So it's always nice if something happens to the venue that you can turn around and the following month be somewhere else where you're welcome and where hopefully everyone will join you. And I wish you good luck on that, Joyce, and I hope everybody will come out and support her on that. Russ, where are you, Russ? Oh, there you are. Russ, come on up. I couldn't see you.
I'm going to share something tonight that is lesser known from someone well known, John Ronald Reuel Tolkien. And incidentally, as I was looking this up here to try and remember what J.R.R. was, he died September 2nd, 1973, so just over 40 years ago in a week. But he has quite the legacy. Most of us, though, probably don't know about his poetry. This is a poem called Why the Man in the Moon Came Down Too Soon, first published at Leeds in 1923, later revised and included in The Adventures of Tom Bombadil, which was published in 1962. The man in the moon had silver shoon, and his beard was of silver thread. He was girt with pale gold and aureoled with gold about his head. Clad in silken robe, in his great white globe, he opened an ivory door. With a crystal key and in secrecy, he stole o'er a shadowy floor. Down a filigree stair of spidery hair, he slipped in gleaming haste, and laughing with glee to be merry and free, he swiftly earthward raced. He was tired of his pearls and diamond twirls, of his pallid minaret, dizzy and white at its lunar height in a world of silver set, and adventured this peril for ruby and beryl, and emerald and sapphire,